Hey, what is up guys? How's it going? Welcome to a slightly different stream tonight. Hi Xbox, hi Heiko, hi Oreo, hi Mr. Grassgreen, C-Joke, Funky Vogelfutter, SL Racing, how's it going? Tonight I want to present to you a little project that I'm working on right now that I hope you will enjoy. Then you will hopefully be as excited about as I am. But first let me ask you if you can hear me okay. I think you should be able to. So what is all the fuss about? Those who follow me on Twitter probably already know, but I have a dream. A project that I wanna realize in 2018, in this year, and that is a online racing league called RaceApp VLN. Hi Billy, hi Volker, hi Tin van Broek, hi Arsenal, Nano. So RaceApp VLN is an online racing league inspired by the real VLN championship, and obviously we're gonna race on the Nürburgring Nordschleife on RaceApp with a variety of different cars. And the key facts will be that, of course, it's gonna be multi-class championship. Currently thinking 3 classes per server, and there's gonna be 2 servers or 2 divisions, however you wanna call it. And those 2 divisions, they will race, they will alternate. So basically the first week of the month we're gonna race Division 1, and then the second week or third week of the month we're gonna race Division 2. And the key will be a staggered start procedure. So the slower classes will start with a delay, so we can actually have some multi-class on the track, because of course, as you know, the Nordschleife is very long, and in a regular race, the regular start, the classes would need to race at least 2 or 3 hours to ever lap the slower cars. So we're gonna try and introduce a starting procedure where the first class of the server starts right away as the lights go out, and then the second class and third class on the server will basically have a delay. So let's say 5 minutes or 6 minutes, and once the race timer has reached that time, that class will start racing. This will make sure that the faster class will catch up within a reasonable amount of time to the slower classes, and we can actually have some multi-class experience and traffic and all that. So yeah, I worked on this website here that I hacked together on WordPress. It's still very much a work in progress, but this will be the portal where all the information you will need, you will find it here. Right now there's not much yet to see. Calendar is still work in progress, so we will find a good day that works for all of us. Now, I really encourage you that you join the Discord that I've made for this league. So maybe, you know, there might be a poll, so you can have a say on which day you would prefer, whether it be a Sunday, a Saturday, or Friday, or whatever. And there's also other things that, you know, it's good to have your input if you are up for it. So, you know, we can shape this all together. It's a community-based project. This has nothing to do with Sector 3 or RaceApp. This is purely my own private project. So it's nothing official, but nonetheless, I think we would have a lot of fun in this league if we all work together. I think we can make this happen. I would certainly be driving in this league for sure. I hope we will find enough drivers, because we need to find, so we have 2 divisions, right? This championship consists of a number of rounds. The number of rounds is still to be discussed. We might even do a few test races before, and then before we start the official season. Each round consists of one race per division. As you see, we have 2 divisions. And each division contains 3 classes. So right now I'm thinking Division 1 could be GT3, the Audi TTRS VLN and the Porsche Cayman. There's around about 20-30 seconds difference on a lap in each of these classes, so that should work out pretty nicely. Hey, Bina, that sounds great, you know, just get in touch with me. Join the Discord. I will post a link to that later on in a minute. So yeah, exactly. So 1 race per division in each round. So let's say we have 5 rounds, that will be 10 races, right? 5 races per division. Division 2 would be the Porsche 911 Cup, and then we have a mix of the Touring Classics and the DTM 92, which have the same balance of performance, so they can run together as one class. And finally the BMW M235i. So the way I was thinking we could do this then is that each class would have a maximum number of 14 grid spots. That is 36 in total. That is around about the maximum that we can do in a race room. And so you just sign up, and I will tell you in a moment how you can do that. So the schedule then will be a bi-weekly schedule alternating Division 1 and 2. As I said, week 1 we would race Division 1, and week 3 of the month we could race Division 2. That means you could in theory also sign up for Division 1 and 2, because they're not happening at the same time, those races. But they will all score towards the same championship though. And yeah, the championship works then that you are collecting points within your class, because obviously that is your goal, driving in the BMW M235i for example. Of course you're not going to compete, you're not going to win races, but what your goal will be is to win your class, of course. So yeah, all those classes score points in the same overall championship and within their own class. Yeah, the starting procedure, as I already mentioned, in RaceRoom, in a multi-class race, it works like this, that RaceRoom will automatically group the classes together on the grid. So the fastest class starts in the front. Even if you're doing a really slow lap in a GT3, you will not start at the very back of the grid, but you will start at the back of your class. That is already a feature of RaceRoom that works that way. But what is not supported is staggered starts, so we would need to do that manually. That will be in the driver's responsibility to follow the procedure. So I hope if you do sign up, if you do end up signing up for this league, that you need to get familiar with how that will work. But it's actually quite easy. Well, if we say that, for example, one race is 90 minutes long, then we would actually set it up to be 90 minutes plus 6 minutes, so 96 minutes. And then the class 1 just starts when the race starts, when the starting lights go out. And then we can agree on a delay. Then, for example, if we agree that class 2 starts with a 5-minute delay, then of course that will mean that the class 2 starts when the race countdown reaches 91 minutes. That's 96 minus 5, right? You can see the timer in the top right of your screen when you're on the server, so it should be fairly simple to just watch the timer and do not start the race before it has reached 91 minutes as it counts down. Hi Christian Rackel, by the way, Christian Rackel, very supportive so far. He is the creator of the RaceApp, which I will talk about in a second. So, in my opinion, this should be fairly straightforward and easy to understand how this starting procedure works. And of course we are doing this so we actually meet on track, so the class 1 drivers will catch up within a reasonable time, and we don't have to race 4 hours before we even have traffic. So that is the thought behind that. Server settings, well, yeah, this is all still to be discussed, but should be around those settings, like I still have to figure out whether we use double fuel usage and tire wear, but we will find it out. We will do a few test races and then figure out if that would make more sense or not. And then scoring, this is also still a bit work in progress, but basically we have 14 cars max in each class, and they would get points according to the system. But actually Chris, the guy from RaceApp, the RaceApp is the scoring system that we will use to keep track of the championship. We were discussing to actually use a dynamic scoring system like in the real VLN, where it depends on how many drivers are in that class. So the more drivers are in the class, the more points will be given. That is exactly how they do it in real life in VLN. So that obviously means the more drivers are in a class, the more competitive it is, the more points you can earn. So your best chances to win the overall championship would be if you were racing in a class with a lot of other drivers. And that's where we go to the participation. How can you participate? And this is still in progress. We are still working on this, or rather Christian Hackel is still working on this. And that is a system called RaceApp.eu, which is a website you can check out. It's a league management system that Chris built, and basically what you can do there is you log in via Steam and you can sign up for a series as a driver. You select your car model and livery, and then you are signed up. So this will be very helpful to organize all of this, because as you can probably imagine, I cannot keep track of everything myself and do everything manually, all the registrations and keeping track of the score. So that will be very helpful. And that's pretty much it. That is my dream. Click that bank. It is an online VLN series, multi-class endurance championship, racing on the Nordschleife in race room with 2 divisions, 3 classes per division, with a staggered start, so we have a great multi-class experience. And that's it. Now, as I said, if you wanna get involved, don't hesitate to contact me, get in touch with me. I've already found 2 partners that have been very helpful so far, and that is Chris from the RaceApp and the guys from RRVGT, who have agreed to provide the servers so we can use their servers to race on. But we're still looking, for support in various areas. So if you feel you can contribute in any way or form, just get in touch with me. For example, we will need server administration we have pretty much covered now. Scoring system, registration system we are working on, but for example we could use people who are streaming the races, and we might already have somebody who will do it in German, but if you wanna do it in English, for example, that would be very nice. And there could be more than one stream. It's if you are in it, if you are up for it, then you're more than welcome. I'm also looking a bit for support in regards to web development, because right now this is only a free website, but I'm planning to move it on my own server, so I can install some plugins and stuff like that that might be useful later on. I can quickly show you the RaceApp. Oh, that's not working. Okay, I might have not used the correct URL there. I should. Maybe it's down for maintenance because he's working on it. Anyway, I'm really curious for you to give your input. If you have any ideas or suggestions, let me just post that Discord server for you so you can find that. Just 1 second. that's not what I wanted. Well, I will tell you that just join the conversation on the Discord, and whatever you feel like you could contribute would be great to get at least your input if it's not your actual work. I'm gonna put this Discord in the chat here, and I can also give you the URL to the website if you want to learn more. There's also a Facebook page and a Twitter page already that you can find on the website down in the navigation bar on top here. If you want to stay, you know, up to date of how it's progressing, my hope is that we can launch this in Q1 of 2018. So around about maybe March is might be a realistic date that we can start this. Yeah, the time and the date is something we can figure out together, you know. I'm up for putting a poll up, a straw poll or whatever, so you can have your vote whether you would like to race on Sunday or Saturday or Friday or whatever day you have time. We can also decide on the time, but I would probably say it's gonna be around 8 o'clock in the evening European time, which is probably, yeah, afternoon in the US, I guess. But let me know your thoughts, you know, we can work this out together, what works for the most of us. I'm open for suggestions. But I think this could be a really nice championship, and who doesn't like to drive on the Nordschleife in multi-class? Hi Tom. No worries, Tintop. RaceApp is online. Yeah, maybe I just clicked the wrong link or went to the wrong URL. But it's actually pretty straightforward. Let me type it in manually, then it will probably work. There you go. Right, so this is a Sim Racing League management tool that we are gonna use for registration of drivers and keeping track of the score. So currently it's not fully supporting multiclass yet, which is something that Chris is working on, and I'm quite optimistic that it will be there very soon. So once that is done, we can basically get going. I would probably say that end of January or beginning of February we can do our first test events, and then mid-February we will probably open registrations if everything goes well. And therefore I really urgently ask you to join the Discord, because there you will find out the soonest. When the signups are open, registrations are open, you will find out there first. But also make sure to check out the Facebook page and the Twitter that I set up, so you can follow it there as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I hope this works out. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't. We have 64 grid spots that can be filled, but obviously since the races are alternating, theoretically you could drive in both divisions. You could, for example, go ahead and drive, let me go here to the rules page. You could drive a car in GTA 3, and then you could drive a BMW M235i, because those races are on different days, right? But you could also, yeah, whatever you want, right? You can race Division 1 and 2, or just Division 1 or just Division 2. Currently we don't have a system to give priority to a driver, so it will be first come first serve. So far that is the plan, unless we have to think of something else. But I think we can do it like that. So there will be maximum 14 spots available in each class. So if you want to drive GT3, I'm just telling you right now, you will have to be quick at sign up. Because once it reached 14 spots, that means there's no chance anymore for you to drive that class. Then you will have to pick another class. But there will of course also be scenarios where a driver will not make it on a certain day, as it always is. And in that case we will open that for guest starters as well. Which is another reason why you should really join the Discord, so you can get that password, because that is where we will distribute the password. At least that's currently the plan. So, how long will the races be? Actually, I'm thinking we could do the normal race format. I'm thinking like 90 minutes, like 1.5 hours. But then there will be, for example, in the middle of the season, like in real VLN. In real VLN they do the 24-hour race, right? But we will not do 24 hours. We could do 2.4 hours once in the season. And then in real VLN there's also a 6-hour race, but maybe for that we could do a 2-hour race once a season. So I'm thinking normally it's gonna be 90 minutes, but there will be special events, 2 or 3 during the season, where we're gonna do a bit longer races. So 2.4 hours for example, or 2 hours. But it's also up to you, you know. If you say you wanna drive longer than 90 minutes for a normal event, we can totally arrange that. It's just about, you know, finding out what you guys want. I'm up for anything. If it's not longer than 3 hours, because that's just crazy. 2.4 is, yeah, that's quite a long race. That's why it will be once per season. Yes, there will be a pit stop. There is not going to be a mandatory pit stop, but you will have to pit for tires and fuel, regardless of the class, I think. Yeah, there will be at least two 2-hour races, one 2.4-hour race, and I think the rest will be 90 minutes. I think that is most reasonable. So streaming, if you wanna just broadcast the race, then you would join the server as a spectator. You would let me know that you are broadcasting the season, and I would of course give you the password so you can join as a spectator and use Race Room's broadcasting tools to stream the race. So we already probably have a candidate who said he would be interested in streaming it in German, I think. But there's a chance that it would be nice if we had an English stream too, because of course not everybody's talking German. So like I said, just get involved, join the Discord, and if you are interested in doing a stream, or if you wanna help out with the website. Another thing that we're gonna need is people who are investigating reported incidents. So if somebody was crashed out or whatever, or somebody jumped the start, stuff like that, if that gets reported, then somebody will have to look at it and hand out a penalty, ideally. So that is also one thing that I would like some help with, because can't do all of that myself. And maybe I was thinking that if you volunteer to steward the races, if you are looking at incidents that are being reported, then maybe I could give you a priority on the sign up, so that you are actually sure to race in any case. I will send you the link to sign up a little bit earlier, just a thought. But that would maybe be an incentive for you to volunteer for that. I'm not entirely sure just yet. The thing is, we are a bit limited with the RaceApp. In the way that you sign up, the system does not reflect if some cars are excluded from the class. So for example, if we would only race the new GT3 cars, then the system where you sign up currently works like that, that if GT3 is part of the series, you can select all of them. Of course, we could oh, I see I made a typo here. This is 235i, not 245. Anyway, we could still exclude some cars, you know. I was also thinking in the Touring Classics, the Nissan and the Volvo are super quick on the Nordschleife. I would like to exclude those two in that class, so that will be all the other cars except those two. And I would also like to exclude the old generation GT3 cars and only race the new ones, but we'll have to figure out how to do that, because it's not working within the RaceApp yet, and I don't want to put too much work on Chris, because he's already worked a lot to help with the multi-class support that we have now for this series, but we can find another way to, you know, to coordinate that. So I think if we write it in the rules or write it on the join or in the sign up page, then hopefully people will understand that they cannot select those cars. It's a possibility. We can look at that. M245, yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited, guys. I hope you are as well. And I hope we can get this going. Hi Timo. Maybe doing the first test events in February and start the season in March. That would be fantastic. Then I don't know if we're gonna, how many rounds we should start with, because it's the first season, and we could do a shorter first season and then see how it evolves, and then do a longer second season. But that's all details that we'll figure out. No pink Mustang allowed. Ideally not, no. I hope that wasn't too loud for you. So yeah, that is my dream, and we are working on it to get it into reality, make it a reality. So I'll say it one more time. Please join the Discord that you can find on the website. I will once again put this link in here. If you go to the join page, there's a link here to the Discord. You just click on it, and then you have to accept the invite, and you will be in the Discord, where we will discuss the future and shape this together to make it a reality. Yeah, Red, I'm fairly certain the Cayman livers will come out before that. Yeah, the server will be provided by RRVGT, which is a German community. They have been kind enough to give me the opportunity to run the series on their servers. So, do you guys have any questions, or should we do some racing? I think if we get enough drivers, and if you guys are disciplined enough to follow the starting procedure, this should be a very, very fun series. Well, as I said earlier, regarding the day, we can have a poll up, you know, put it to a vote when you guys want to race. Personally, myself, I would prefer either Saturday or Sunday evening European time. But as I said, we can have a poll and you can have your vote, and then we'll see what it is. But then, if we have a vote, then only vote if you're committed to also join the series. But that will follow later. Just make sure to follow the Twitter, follow the Facebook, and join the Discord. This is where we'll have those discussions. So if you're interested and you want to have a say, this is where the discussion will happen. This is where you can give us your feedback. Okay, thank you, Christoph. I'm open for all sorts of suggestions, but I think the basic concept will pretty much stay like this. I was toying around with the idea of having 3 divisions instead of 2, with only 2 classes per division. But then I think it becomes a bit too much if we're gonna have a race almost every weekend over the span of a year. That might be a bit too much. So if the races happen in a bi-weekly rhythm, every other week there's gonna be and if you're only in Division 1, then you will only have a monthly race. So let's say if the season would start in March, then the first week of March there's a Division 1 race. Second week will be an off week, and the third week there will be a Division 2 race. And then next Division 1 race again in April. So it's up to you how much you want to get involved. If you want to just drive in one division, or if you want to drive in both of them. But I really hope that we can fill both of those grids and have some exciting multi-class racing. Yeah, race that's at 9 o'clock. That's fine for me as well. I'm flexible. I'm open for suggestions, as I said. Yeah, that sounds great, Tom. Just join us in Discord, and I'll make sure to discuss it with you. Yeah, with all that said, shall we do some racing? I actually have loaded up a race here. And this here is the dev build, so you might see some work in progress or placeholder things. Don't get too hung up on that. But I have loaded up here is a offline race on the Nordschleife with a bunch of different classes, and I'm driving the Porsche GT3R on the Nordschleife. So let's see what happens here. No, sign up is not possible yet. Currently we are in the process of setting everything up, but what you can already do now is join the Discord, give us your suggestions, give your ideas, cast your votes if there is a vote on, for example, which race day we're gonna have. And as soon as sign-ups are open, I will let you guys know. And then you have to be very quick that day to sign up, because I'm hoping there will be quite a few people interested in racing with us. And it's gonna be first come, first serve, I think, unless we think of another system on how to prioritize driver registrations. But I want to keep it quite simple, at least the first season. I mean, if this goes on for more than one season, and I hope it will, then we can of course expand the concept and introduce new features and ideas. Yes, this is 100 opponents on the Nordschleife. Multiclass is in progress indeed. It's just a matter of time and priorities, as always, as to one that will be shipped in the live game. One idea would be, for example, to have a pre-season shootout on a leaderboard or stuff like that. So the quicker you are in that competition, the higher in priority you are in the sign-up process. So the quicker you are, the earlier you can choose which car you want to drive. It's obviously bad for people who are not super quick, but of course, you know, the quicker guys will probably want to drive the quicker cars, even though it's not necessarily true. Slower classes provide also a lot of fun. But there's certainly ways of organizing that. But since it's gonna be the first season that we're gonna start, I'm trying to keep it simple for the first season, and then I will, of course, we will consider your feedback, what you want to change, and then we'll try our best to make that happen for the next season. It's a community-driven project, so I'm really open for your input, guys. Just make sure to make your voice be heard on the Discord. Happy New Year to you as well, Mesoliptic J. I've had a look at the Touring Classics leaderboard on the VLN, and it's all Nissans and Volvos in the front. That car is super quick on the straights. That's why I would like to exclude the Nissan and the Volvo. So then we would be left with the BMW E30, BMW 635. What else is in that class? DTM 92, of course, the Mercedes, and the Opel, Mustang. Those are actually cars who drove in the real VLN as well. There's really nothing more fun than driving in traffic on the Nordschleife. It's the best track in the world. And having to deal not only with the challenge of the track, but also with the challenge of lapping cars while racing your opponents in your class, I think it's just one of the greatest series in the world, the VLN, and 24 hours on the Nürburgring. Maybe if you're not European or if you're not German, you might not be familiar so much with the VLN series, but you probably heard of the Nürburgring 24 hours. But that is only one event of his entire season. They are racing the same cars. Are racing on this track all year long, and I think 10 rounds championship, and it's just fantastic. If you're a true motorsport fan, it's one of the best series you can follow or even go watch yourself live in person. But you know, even also just looking at the onboard videos that they put out from that series, it's just insanely great racing, and Yeah, as you can probably hear, I'm really a fan of the Nordschleife and racing on the Nordschleife. And doing it, you know, multi-class endurance is gonna be really exciting, I think. So that's the reason for this clickbaity title of the video today. It is my dream, has been my dream for a long time. And we did VLAN series in the past in German communities. But it's time to get that going again, I think. And you know, the concept I've just presented you, I think should provide exactly what we're looking for. It's multi-class endurance racing. Wow, getting very tight here. Obviously online the racing will be better than racing against the AI, hopefully. Yeah, the TTRS is also very fast around this track. It is only 20 seconds slower than GT3, which is not a lot, considering the lap is just a bit longer than 8 minutes. Well, fantastic, Nano. Then hopefully you will sign up for this. As I mentioned, you can also sign up in both divisions if you want to. You can race GT3 and M235i, for example, or Touring Classics and TTRS. It's up to you. If you're up for doing a race every other week, which I will probably do, yeah, that could be the case, Tinta. That is not part of the actual championship, but it's the same cars, and drivers and teams. Yeah, WTC is also quite fast compared to GT3, but they had some huge tire problems in the past year. Not really made for the Nordschleife with those tires. I think Tom Coronel had a tire failure in Schwedenplatz. It's not a good place to have to blow a tire, go into the Armco. That's what I'm talking about. It's really difficult to drive on this track in the first place, but then you will have to deal with traffic too. It's so much fun. And of course, if this is going to happen, which at this point I'm fairly certain it will, I will of course stream all the races from my perspective. But ideally we would have a broadcast type stream as well, with commentary. Probably in German, but hopefully also in English. That would be fantastic. Yeah, that is the idea, Tinta. Normal races will be on the VLN layout, and the 2.4-hour race will be on the 24-hour layout. Yeah. I've been to the 24 hours twice in my life. Both times it was work related, so I didn't get to enjoy it fully like you would as a visitor, but it's been a great experience nonetheless, especially the first year we went there. I was able to experience it from the Nordschleife for quite a bit of time. We went to several different locations, watched the cars go around. And you know, being at Brünchen in the night when all the fireworks go up and the barbecues go on and the cars are passing by, it's just been a dream of mine to be there for a long time, and luckily it happened for me. Hopefully I'll be going there again sometime soon. I don't know, Barkeeper Mo. It's certainly on our radar, but I cannot promise you anything at this point. You'll have to wait for a statement on the official channels of RaceRoom. Yeah, luckily the broadcasting of the 24 hours has improved vastly over the last few years. There wasn't a whole lot of different cameras in the early days. Well, actually the 24 hours were never that bad, but the VLN races also have improved quite a bit, with more cameras being installed around the track. And a live video stream for every race wasn't always the case. Of course, it is a huge logistical challenge to cover this entire track with cameras, and they can do it once a year, but 10 times a year is of course more difficult. But with today's technology and onboard cameras and LTE, Wi-Fi and whatnot, can follow all the races actually quite well these days. Why do cars understeer with a keyboard? I don't know, mate. Haven't driven it with a keyboard, but you could go and look at the analog sectors in the advanced controller settings, because those determine on how quickly the cars turn in, how quickly the steering wheel turns as you press the keyboard buttons. But I would actually recommend you not to use the keyboard, but if you only have a keyboard and mouse, use the mouse for steering. It's actually working pretty well. There should be an option or a profile that you can choose that is called mouse steering. or something like that. And it's actually much easier to control the car using the mouse instead of using the keyboard buttons. Works much better. But really you should at least get a controller, or even better a racing wheel. You will not regret it, trust me. And you can get a cheap wheel, what is it, like 150 bucks, something around that. They start, I think. Yeah, some of the Cayman liveries you see are placeholders, the colored ones, and the other ones are work in progress. There's actually no KTMs in this race, maybe in the next one. Thrustmaster T300 RS should definitely work with RaceRoom. All Thrustmaster wheels are working with RaceRoom. In fact, most consumer wheels are supported. Oh man, this is so much fun driving in traffic here on the Nordschleife. And that's why we're gonna use this staggered start, because if Class 2 and 3 are starting with 5 and 6 minutes delay, then it will only take maybe half an hour for the Class 1 drivers to catch up the remaining 2-3 minutes. If we weren't using a staggered start, then it would take significantly longer. And then it becomes a bit pointless to do multiclass. There would be also another possibility that we are doing a formation lap, but who wants to do that on the Nordschleife? It would take like 15 minutes. And with formation laps and flying starts, it also requires much more coordination with the drivers and discipline of the drivers. Which, you know, if we get an established and loyal grid of drivers, it could be an option in the future. If people are getting familiar with how the rules work and everything. Oh, we have a yellow flag here. You know, if we build a strong and loyal community with drivers who are very familiar with how everything works, there's a lot of things we can do. But I don't want to start it off too complicated in season 1 already. It might just intimidate or confuse people. I would rather keep it simple in the first season or 2, and then yeah, we'll just use your feedback to further develop the series. Oh man, this 635 BMW sounds fantastic. Is that a V6 or is it a V10? It must be V6, isn't it? Hello to Phoenix. Everybody that has just tuned in, you might want to skip to the beginning of the stream. It's a fairly big announcement that you might be curious or interested to hear. It's hard to say, Yanis. I don't have a date for you, but as you can see, we are working on it. But as always, whoa, that was my fault. As always, we have more than one thing that we need to work on, and it's always a matter of what is being prioritized. But fingers crossed, it shouldn't be too long before it's available in single player. Yes, I will definitely announce that on the RRVLN Twitter, as well as my own Twitter, when the signups are open. I'll probably announce the date when the signups will be open like a week before, so you can get ready and make sure that that day the signups will open on that day and time, that you will be ready, because as it is now, it will be first come, first serve, and there's a maximum of 14 entries allowed per class. So you might need to be quick to sign up. Yeah, Cayman liveries will definitely be shipped as soon as possible. They almost made it into the day one build of the Porsche. There was some last minute complications that we had to deal with. But don't worry, they will come. Just make sure that if you sign up for this series, which I hope you will do, that you really commit, because the last thing I would like to is to have drivers that sign up and then do not show up for the race. That would be a real shame, because there's not a lot of cars in each class, and if you do sign up, then I really urge you to show up to the races, because if you don't, that might... I don't know what we will do then, if it's gonna be a penalty or a ban, but I really don't want people to sign up and then not show up. Of course, if you can't make it on a certain race day, if you tell us beforehand, that's not a problem. But if you are absent without giving notice, that is something that is a no-go. We want people to take this serious, and if you're not serious about it, then you might as well not sign up and give somebody else the chance. But I'm confident that, you know, with the support of communities like RRVGT, or maybe even some other communities, we could build a loyal driver base that does take the series seriously. And is also disciplined enough to follow the rules, especially during start, because it is something that is the driver's responsibility. It's not something that the game regulates for you, so it will be in your responsibility to watch the race timer, which is that thing up there in the right top corner. And you will be allowed to start your race if you are in a class 2 or class 3 once that session timer has reached a certain predefined time. Like I'm thinking currently, if a regular race is 90 minutes long, then of course class 1 just starts when the lights go out, and then instead of making the race 90 minutes long, we would make it 96 minutes long, for example. And then we could say class 2 has a delay of 5 minutes. So that will mean then that class 2 starts when that session timer reaches 91 minutes left. And then class 3 would start when there's 90 minutes left. That makes it a 6-minute delay for class 3 and a 5-minute delay for class 2. A regular lap or a normal lap in a class 1 car is just around 8 minutes. So that means class 1 drivers still have 2 minutes to catch before reaching class 3 and 2. Which I think should be doable, you know, in under 1 hour of racing at least. And then the question is, and this is something we will have to find out during test races, because the pit stops also are part of this equation, you know. But I think that every class has to only pit once in a 90-minute race, and that means it's basically neglectable. Well, then you still have your phone and your Discord app on your phone where you can tell us that something happened, and then you'll be excused, Nano. I mean, stuff like that can always happen. But there should always be a way for you to letting the admins know about that. And if you really have a super good excuse, you know, we will not exclude you from the league right away. But there should definitely be a penalty for people who sign up and then do not show up and do not have signed out before the race. Well, regarding TeamSpeak, I mean, I would like to use Discord for everything. So, you know, we have our text channels there where we can discuss things, and there will be a channel where you as a registered driver will be able to get the password, and there will probably be also voice channels for you, either per class or per division or per team, you know, even though there's no teams currently in the concept. I wouldn't say it's gonna be mandatory to be on that voice channel during the race, but it's definitely mandatory to be on the Discord server in the first place to get the password and, you know, and get the information, all the information about the series. Well, quali, I don't think it needs to be longer than 30 minutes, if at all. Like, I'm thinking 30 minutes practice, 30 minutes quali, then 5-minute warm-up, and after that a 90 minutes race. It's gonna be a long enough evening like that, like 2.5 hours. But again, it's all open for discussion. If you are making a good point why the practice needs to be 2 hours, then I'm listening. It's rush hour here. Very busy. Well, as I said in the beginning, when I explained all of this, races would be every other week, so 2 races per month, but that's counting both divisions, right? You don't have to sign up for both divisions. If you only want to race GT3 or if you only want to race BMW M235i, then you just sign up for that division. And so each division will have a monthly race, once a month. But in theory, you can also sign up for both divisions. In that case, you will have 2 races per month. Well, regarding password distribution, I'm not entirely sure yet how we are gonna do that. If that's gonna be handled through the RaceApp system, or if we're gonna do that separately, I don't know yet. But worst case, I will have a look at everybody who registered as a driver, and then I will make a Discord channel that is only accessible to registered drivers. So if you're on the Discord, then you can just go there and you will see the password there before the race. And I'm fairly sure that we can have guest starters quite frequently, because it's always, you know, it's always the case that 1 or 2 drivers just can't make it on that day, and they will just let me know, and then I will open that event to guest drivers. And I think the way the RaceApp is set up, it's like that guest drivers do not score championship points, but they can still, of course, race just for fun. Once a month. Did that come out correctly? And then, of course, you know, if you want to partner up with this series, just like the Real Racing, what is it called, RRVGT, as those guys did, or if you have a business and you want to sponsor the championship, just let me know. Totally open for opportunities. No, we can absolutely not go over 36 drivers in total. That is the limit. After that, the netcode is making problems, unfortunately. So we'll be limited to 36 drivers in each race. And now how we distribute those 36 amongst the classes, that's a different question, you know. That is something we can discuss. But the way the race app is built, or is being built right now, is so that there will be a maximum number that each class can hold. So for example, that would be 14. And then it comes down to which class gets full first, because if 14 people sign up for GT3 and 14 people sign up for the what's the other class? Let's say Cayman, then there's already 28 spots taken, which leaves 8 for the third class remaining. So that's how it will work probably. So there's a slight room for the more popular classes to be bigger than the other classes, while still somewhat have a equal field in terms of different drivers in the different classes. Because obviously we want to have multi-class racing, and we want to have 3 classes that are worth racing in. We don't want to end up with a class that only has 2 or 3 drivers, then it would become pointless, right? That's why the available grid spots in each class are limited. And 14 is just a number right now, but I think it could work. I think it's a pretty good compromise. Worst case, the least popular class will contain 8 drivers, which is not a lot, but also it's still a race, you know, with 8 drivers. But we could also limit it to 12. In that case, it would be actually 12 in each class, wouldn't it? Yeah. 36 divided by 3, that's 12. But again, those are all details that we can discuss. But I've put already quite a bit of thought into this, together with again Chris Rucky, who has really been very supportive in adding additional code to his race app that will be the system that we're going to use for driver registrations and championship scoring. All that information will be available hopefully on the website. Now that website right now is still just a free website, but as I said earlier, the plan is to gonna get my own web server and run that website from there. So I have more options basically with the website if I do that. Because, for example, to integrate the RaceApp on the website, I would need to do that using an iframe. I don't know if you're a web developer, that probably means something to you. I'm not so savvy in these things. But apparently the free plan that you get with WordPress, you're not allowed to embed iframes on your website. And I would need to get the business plan for WordPress to host the website, and that is 25 euros per month, which is not exactly cheap. So I think the cheaper alternative is to get my own web server for like $5 a month and then install the WordPress software on that server. Again, this is something that I will probably need help with by somebody. I already have a few guys who offered their help. But if you know about these things, or if you have other skills that could be helpful in making this a better experience for everybody, then please join the Discord, join the community, join the discussion, and if we all work together, I think we can make this a very, very fun experience and series for everybody. Yeah, I'm also running everything maxed out. 100 cars in the Nordschleife, and the performance is great. I mean, I remember back when we first tried these big grids, the performance was absolutely terrible. But a lot of optimization went into this, and now it's pretty decent. I mean, it's really decent actually. Okay guys, I think I'll complete this lap and then we'll call it a night. But I hope I could damn it, it's so hard to talk and drive. I hope I could wake some enthusiasm for my project, or our project I should say. I hope you are excited. I hope you will join as a driver or a contributor, and we'll have some fun together, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, i7 7700K, that's the one I have. It's running pretty great so far, but with the recent developments of NVIDIA chips, and it's actually not just NVIDIA chips, you probably heard about this thing, that they discovered a vulnerability and now have to patch the operating systems, and this will result in 5 to 30% performance loss on all CPUs. But we will have to see on how much it actually affects performance during gaming. Yeah, look it up, mate. It's going under the hashtag Meltdown and hashtag Spectre. That's what they are calling this. And apparently all CPUs are affected by Intel, some more, some less. And turns out it's not only Intel CPUs. Also AMD CPUs are affected. And even Apple machines are. It's been quite big news last week. Okay, tint up. I'll definitely forward that information. Thank you. New certificate coming soon. You know, we had a lot of stuff on vacation, of course, over the Christmas period, but starting next week they will all be again back in the office. We actually have quite a few things that need to be addressed, some server issues as well. And I think it's mostly the RaceApp official servers in the lobby, the public servers, that are being a bit funky at the moment. IBM doesn't have the problem, okay, but who has an IBM chip? But from what I heard, gamers will not be affected as much. It's only really other really CPU intense tasks that are gonna suffer the most. But then again, you know, Race Room is already quite CPU intensive. We'll have to wait and see. .5 off. That's not much. That's pretty close actually. Don't practice too hard, otherwise I'll have to give it another go. Which car did you drive? Were you also in the Porsche? I heard the Corvette is pretty quick, but that will be addressed probably in a BOP update fairly soon. So might be that we will have to wipe all the GT3 leaderboards one more time because of the new balance of performance. So, which class are you thinking about signing up, guys? And which car would you like to drive? I'm gonna tell you already now that I'm gonna reserve the Manthey Porsche for myself. Or maybe not, I'll see. But I will probably drive GT3 and probably also either the Touring Classics or the M235i. But Porsche Cup would be nice as well though. DTM Mercedes? Yeah, that would be fun as well. That car also drives in the real VLN, or used to drive at least. Such a great mix of cars in that championship. It used to be even crazier in the earlier days. Now it has become a little bit more restrictive as to which cars they allow, and they don't allow just like any amateur anymore, I think. Let's watch a little bit of that replay. I actually haven't driven the Cayman so much yet, but I think that's also quite fun to drive that one. I need to give that one a go in the near future. me paste that URL one more time into the chat here. So if you're interested, you can check it out here. Also make sure to join us in Discord. You just have to click the link and accept the invite, and then you can just bookmark the Discord page, or you can download the desktop version of Discord. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's similar to TeamSpeak, also a bit similar to Skype. It's like a mix in between. It's pretty cool. Definitely, I think it will take the place of TeamSpeak very soon, so might as well join us here. On the website you will also find a Facebook page and a Twitter page of the championship that you can follow. One more time I would like to thank Christian Raki for his support regarding the RaceApp and adding more functionality that we have been requesting, that we will need for this series, but of course other championships admins will also need in the future. So if you are planning to do your own league, make sure to check out raceapp.eu. It's a sim racing championship management system that will help you with driver registration, scoring and stuff like that, so you don't have to do everything yourself. Also thanks one more time to the guys at RRVGT and Johnny in particular, who offered his support in providing servers where we can run our races. He also has already spoken to a commentator who is willing to broadcast. So that's fantastic. If you are a broadcaster, a shoutcaster, or interested in covering the championship maybe in English or another language that is not German, then also feel free to get in touch. There's a high chance that we could have more than one stream, why not? Certainly not everybody speaks German, not everybody speaks English, so that would be a good thing for sure. If you're good with websites, creating websites, or web in general, I could probably use some help setting up my website on my own server and including the RaceApp on my website and stuff like that. If you are willing to be on the race jury, or whatever you want to call it, the stewards that are investigating incidents, that will be extremely helpful. People who volunteer to do that will definitely get some incentive. Maybe you will get to sign up a bit earlier than everybody else, so you can choose the car without risk of somebody else taking your car or something else. We'll figure it out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you are excited. I hope you will participate as a driver or in another form in this championship. And stay tuned. Subscribe to all those RVLN channels and Discords and stuff to stay up to date. And we will inform you as soon as we make progress in those areas. And then we will do probably our first test event or two. And hopefully after that we will kick off the first season. Yeah, that is it, guys. Thanks for watching tonight. And see you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.